Imagine being captured by aliens. You're suddenly taken from your everyday life and thrust into a bizarre and terrifying situation. The sky is filled with strange, glowing lights, and the air hums with an eerie energy. You look around and see others who are just as confused and scared as you are. You and 9 other humans are lined up. The aliens, towering and otherworldly, have gathered you all in a straight line. You can feel the tension in the air as everyone tries to make sense of what's happening. The aliens find it amusing to play games with their captives. Their eyes gleam with a sinister delight as they explain the rules of their twisted game. You can tell that they enjoy watching the fear and confusion on your faces. This game involves hats, black hats and white hats. The aliens present the hats with a flourish, as if they are the most precious items in the universe. The hats are simple, yet they hold the key to your survival. Each of you is given a hat, but you can't see your own. The aliens place the hats on your heads with a sense of ceremony, making sure that you understand the gravity of the situation. You can feel the weight of the hat, but you have no idea what color it is. You can only see the hats of those in front of you. This adds another layer of complexity to the game. You try to make sense of the colors you see, hoping to find a pattern or a clue that will help you guess your own hat's color. The aliens have a cruel sense of humor. They laugh and mock you, enjoying your discomfort. It's clear that they take pleasure in your fear and confusion. They seem to thrive on the chaos they've created. They tell you that you must guess the color of your hat. The pressure is immense. You know that your life depends on making the right guess. You rack your brain trying to think of a strategy that will help you survive. You have to say black or white. The simplicity of the task is deceptive. It seems like a 50-50 chance, but the stakes are incredibly high. You hear the others around you making their guesses, and you know that your turn is coming soon. Here's the catch. Only one wrong guess is allowed. The realization hits you like a ton of bricks. If more than one person guesses incorrectly, everyone loses. The weight of this rule is almost unbearable. You can see the fear in the eyes of those around you. If more than one person guesses incorrectly, everyone loses. The tension is palpable. You can feel the collective anxiety of the group. Everyone is trying to come up with a plan, but the pressure makes it hard to think clearly. How can you possibly survive this game? The question echoes in your mind. You know that there must be a way to outsmart the aliens. But what is it? You take a deep breath and try to focus. Your survival depends on it. The key to winning this game lies in understanding that the colors aren't just random. The aliens have set up a system. The prisoners need to find a way to communicate information about the hats without directly revealing their own hat color. This is where the concept of parity comes into play. Parity means whether a number is even or odd. Think of it this way: 2 black hats are even, 3 black hats are odd. The prisoners can use this idea of even and odd to send a message down the line. This message will help them deduce the colors of their own hats. The prisoner at the back of the line has the toughest job. They stand there knowing that their decision could set the tone for everyone else. The weight of responsibility is immense, and the pressure is palpable. They can see the hats of all the prisoners in front of them, but they have no way of knowing the color of their own hat. This lack of information makes their task incredibly challenging. They can see everyone else's hats, but they have no information about their own. This is the essence of the dilemma. The prisoner must make a decision based on incomplete information, and this decision will have far-reaching consequences. They must rely on logic and strategy rather than intuition or guesswork. They have a 50-50 chance of guessing correctly. It's like flipping a coin, but with much higher stakes. The outcome of their guess could mean the difference between success and failure for the entire group. The prisoner must weigh their options carefully, knowing that their choice will set a precedent for the others. However, their guess isn't really about their own hat. It's about sending a vital clue to the rest of the prisoners. The first prisoner's role is to provide a signal that the others can use to deduce the colors of their own hats. This requires a level of selflessness and strategic thinking that is not immediately apparent. It's about sending a vital clue to the rest of the prisoners. The first prisoner must communicate in a way that is both clear and meaningful. Their message must be understood by the others, who will use it to make their own decisions. This is a delicate balance, as the first prisoner must be both accurate and strategic in their communication. The first prisoner has to observe the hats in front of them. They must take in every detail, noting the colors and positions of the hats. This information is crucial, as it will form the basis of their decision. The prisoner must remain calm and focused, despite the pressure of the situation. They need to count the number of black hats. This is a key part of the strategy. By counting the black hats, the prisoner can provide a clue that will help the others determine the colors of their own hats. This requires careful observation and mental calculation. If the count is even, they'll say black. This is a predetermined signal that the others will understand. The prisoner must be confident in their count and clear in their communication. This signal will set the stage for the decisions of the other prisoners. If the count is odd, they'll say white. This is the alternative signal. The prisoner must be equally confident and clear in this case. The others will use this information to make their own deductions. The first prisoner's role is crucial, as their signal will guide the decisions of the entire group. This is their sacrifice play. The first prisoner may not know the color of their own hat, but their decision will provide vital information to the others. This requires a level of selflessness and strategic thinking that is not immediately apparent. The first prisoner must be willing to take a risk for the benefit of the group. They might be wrong about their own hat, but their answer will provide crucial information to the rest of the line. The other prisoners will use this information to make their own decisions, increasing the chances of success for the entire group. The first prisoner's role is both challenging and essential, requiring a combination of observation, calculation, and communication. The second prisoner in line is in a much better position than the first. This is because they have the advantage of hearing the first prisoner's guess before making their own decision. The first prisoner's guess is not just a random shot in the dark. It's a strategic move that sets the stage for the rest of the prisoners. They've heard the first prisoner's guess. This guess is crucial because it contains hidden information that the second prisoner can use. The first prisoner's guess is essentially a coded message, a signal that conveys more than just a simple guess about their own hat. This guess wasn't about a single hat, but about the overall pattern of hats. The first prisoner is looking at the hats in front of them and making a calculated guess based on the pattern they see. This pattern is key to understanding the strategy behind the guessing game. It was a message about whether the total number of black hats seen was even or odd. This information is vital because it helps the second prisoner determine the color of their own hat. The first prisoner's guess acts as a reference point for the second prisoner. Let's say the first prisoner said black, indicating an even number of black hats. This means that the first prisoner has counted the black hats in front of them and determined that the total number is even. This guess is not just a random choice, it's a strategic decision based on observation. The second prisoner looks at the hats in front of them. They now have additional information to work with. They know the first prisoner's guess and can use this to make a more informed decision about their own hat. If they see an odd number of black hats, they know their own hat must be black to make the total even. This is because the first prisoner's guess indicated an even number of black hats. The second prisoner uses this information to deduce the color of their own hat. If they see an even number, their hat must be white to maintain the even count. This logical deduction is based on the information provided by the first prisoner's guess. The second prisoner's decision is not just a guess. It's a calculated move based on the pattern and the first prisoner's strategic guess. Section 5. The second prisoner's deduction. Let's imagine the hats in front of the second prisoner include 3 black hats, an odd number. They heard the first prisoner say black, signaling an even number. Now the second prisoner knows they must complete the even count. They confidently announce, "Black." This deduction might seem simple, but it highlights the brilliance of the strategy. The second prisoner used both the information from the first prisoner and their own observations to arrive at the correct answer. Section 6. A chain of logic. How it works for everyone. This pattern of listening and deducing continues down the line. Each prisoner listens to the guess of the person behind them. This tells them whether the count of black hats up to that point is even or odd. Then, they look at the hats in front of them and count the black hats. If their count matches the parity announced by the person behind them, they know their own hat color must be the same as the announced parity to maintain it. If their count doesn't match the announced parity, their hat must be the opposite color to correct it. Section 7. Example. Cracking the code in action. Let's say the first prisoner sees 5 black hats, which is odd, and says, white. The second prisoner sees 3 black hats, also odd, and to maintain the odd parity, knows theirs must be black. They say black. The third prisoner sees 2 black hats, which is even. To correct it to odd, they know their hat must be black and say black. This logic continues down the line. Each prisoner uses the information from the person behind them and their own observations to deduce their hat color. Section 8. The power of teamwork and a little sacrifice. This hat-guessing game might seem impossible at first, but with a clever strategy, the prisoners can dramatically increase their chances of survival. The key is teamwork. The first prisoner makes a sacrifice, potentially guessing their own hat color incorrectly, to provide vital information to the rest of the line. This strategy ensures that only the first prisoner has a 50-50 chance of being wrong. Everyone else has the information they need to deduce their hat color with certainty. Section 9. Conclusion. Outsmarting the overlords. The alien hat riddle is a classic logic puzzle that demonstrates the power of clever communication and deductive reasoning. By focusing on the concept of parity and using a simple code, the prisoners can outsmart their alien captors and ensure the survival of all but one. This riddle reminds us that even in the face of seemingly insurmountable challenges, creative thinking and collaboration can lead to unexpected solutions.